And we're live.
Hey guys, good evening and welcome to my exciting channel. We're discussing Mandela effects into the life. Thanks for joining me today as we uncover the mysteries of the Mandela effect itself and find out the true meaning of it all. We must discover what is really happening, what is really going on here to change these things that we know and hold dear to us. And let us help others discover the meaning of the Mandela effect and how it affects them and the price of milk. Thank you. And be sure to hit the like and subscribe down below.
Hey, good morning, guys. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Good morning. Happy Sunday. We are having some delays with Sandy getting here to show us some of these folders. But however, we do have an awesome show to talk about here. So without any further ado, and I've got Jeff here with me. Jeff, what's going on in your world?
Not a whole lot. Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
I sent you a couple of things the other day I want to show while we're waiting for Sandy.
Sure, we could do that.
Those two
that.
short videos with the residue from that show that I watch that I sent you the other night. We should show those.
Okay. I do have a huge one to talk about after that.
Okay.
Remind me, okay?
All right.
All right. So hope everybody's doing well out there. Jeff, you want to do some shout outs while I'm pulling this up? Can you see the chat?
Yeah. We have Mandela affected and Gaynor. Super Mario Brothers 3 and Ed Hen so far. And then we have some lurkers there. So, welcome everyone. Hopefully Sandy gets here soon. In the meantime, we got some cool stuff to show you.
Okay, so this was at the end of last week's show, right? You were showing me being Erica, right? Or you were telling me about that one?
Yeah,
and there's residue in that show, right?
Yeah, I'm finding a lot of residue in that particular show. And I sent you two of them that I think are pretty good.
Okay. Okay. I've got it up here now. All right. So you guys see my screen? Can you see it?
Yeah.
All right. This is residue for a song that changed, and you found it on Being Erica.
Yeah, it's residue for Jewel, Who Will Save Your Soul, instead of Who Will Save Your Souls like it is now.
Oh, come on, it's like the best part.
Right?
Play. She actually sold there. Did you hear that?
Yep. She says it.
Now, how in the world did this escape the Mandela effect? Because usually the Mandela effect, when it happens to something, it affects everything. See, in the actual song that Jewel sings, she sings, "Who will save your souls?" And this is perfect residue for soul. You heard it. And I've actually heard her seeing live too, there was some residue, I think, where she said soul instead of souls. So maybe the Mandela effect, maybe some things are able to escape the Mandela effect. And I was kind of wondering about that, you guys. Like, for instance, if you had, are you guys familiar with Faraday cages? A Faraday cage is like copper wire that's intertwined in such a way that it blocks all cell signals and it blocks every kind of EMF. It'll even block an EMP blast up to a certain extent. You know, some could possibly pass through. However, it may block some of the effects from the Mandela effect, and I've been curious to try that out if I could ever get a hold of a Faraday cage. Have you guys heard of that?
I never heard of that.
Okay, so here's some more residue. I guess that this is showing the actual episode, right? So it's from season 1, episode 9, Being Erica, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is for Sex in the City.
Yes. Play it again.
Play it again, Sam.
Play it again, Sam.
Were you thinking the same thing?
Yeah.
That's funny, Jeff.
Yeah.
You should use that every time.
Yeah, I should.
Like if there's a clip we need to play it again, Sam. I don't know why it's swirling.
There we go.
You see that?
Oh.
Sex in the City.
Play it again, Sam, because I talked over. Start it from the beginning, though.
Okay.
Just play the whole thing.
I'll play the whole thing.
Yeah.
Watch me on the Sex in the City.
It says Sex in the City. You guys
Clearly.
heard it?
Yep.
Yeah, very clearly. So yeah, that's great residue.
Thanks.
So following along a similar line as that, my parents and I were. Can you guys see me? Okay. Yeah. So my parents and I were watching this movie Fletch. It's like an old '80s movie with Chevy Chase, and just so happened that these Mandela effects, they pop right in your face, right? They just show up out of nowhere. Well, sure enough, we see something here that says something about Ed McMahon, right? Let me get that up for you guys here. All right. Whoa. Infinite mode. Okay. So this is what we saw. So from the movie Fletch, I took a picture of it. And right here, it says American Family Publishers. Okay, which is what it is now. But many, including myself, I remember him being part of the Publishers Clearinghouse. And there's even residue in like shows like The Golden Girls. There was residue there, and some other places that people are remembering that Ed McMahon used to work for Publishers Clearinghouse, but apparently he's never been affiliated with them. And I can read off this Snopes article, but I'm sure it's going to make some of you mad. The Mandela Effect, Ed McMahon, and Publishers Clearinghouse. So these are several. It gives you several reasons why Americans remember the entertainer Ed McMahon working for Publishers Clearinghouse. So it goes on to say that, see, here's the claim. Entertainer Ed McMahon was a spokesperson for Publishers Clearinghouse. It says here there's no evidence that Ed McMahon ever worked for Publishers Clearinghouse. He was a spokesperson for American Family Publishers. In old TV commercials for American Family Publishers, the word publishers appeared much smaller than American Family. Perhaps because the company knew that so many American households had confused the two brands. Oh, see, look at that. They're saying we're confused about the two brands, believing that McMahon worked for the competition. So then it says he was never a spokesperson for Publishers Clearinghouse. However, there's a large number of Americans, see a large number, who believe that he was. This is an example of a false memory known as the Mandela effect. It's called the Mandela effect because of the false memory. So many people who believe Nelson Mandela died in prison in the 80s. Look, he goes on to explain the Mandela effect here, the writer of the article. So the false memory that McMahon worked for Publishers Clearinghouse likely existed in the minds of many Americans for one or a combination of several reasons. So here's the first reason they go on to say about American TV commercials, right? And I can't play the audio here, but so the PCH Prize Patrol, you remember they used to have those commercials where they'd have the Prize Patrol and they'd stop off at people's houses and hand out a big check. Well, Ed McMahon never appeared in the ads, right? This is an example of a commercial. Publishers Clearinghouse winners. You guys see that? Some of these old commercials, 1993. All right. So, Jeff, can you hear me? I'm just making sure I didn't lose anybody.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So I'm curious to know what the chat thinks about this, what you guys are thinking about this. So McMahon appeared in TV commercials for a company similar to Publishers called American Family Publishers. The word publishers. So then it's just explaining what we talked about earlier. Reason number 3, his face was on the envelopes. While working as a spokesperson for American Family Publishers, a drawing of McMahon's face appeared on envelopes that were sent out to American households. However, his face never appeared on the Publishers Clearinghouse envelopes because, again, he never worked for the company. McMahon hinted at the competition clearinghouse and his face on the envelopes of the old TV commercial. So, yeah, that's just like this image here. It has a picture of his face up there. You see that on that envelope?
See, that's what the envelope looked like, except it had the Publishers Clearinghouse logo on it. That's what I remember.
It sure enough did. In my memory, it did. And I'm sure a lot of other people's memories. So you said, Jeff, you said you had some like information on that, like you had some DVDs that had the commercial or something.
Yeah, it's a little weird, I know, but I collect a lot of nostalgic stuff, like old TV shows and also old commercials from back in the day, because I just enjoy that stuff because it brings me back to a simpler time. So occasionally I'll watch a few of them. And I used to have the Publishers Clearinghouse commercials on tapes and DVDs. I have this huge archive collection of these old commercials. And when I found out about this change, I went to the tapes that I knew they were on, and it was gone, obviously, because it never existed in this reality. In some cases, it was replaced with the American Family Publishers commercials, and in others, it was just replaced with other commercials, or in some cases, the DVD, that part of the DVD that it was on, didn't play anymore. It just wouldn't play that part, which is really creepy. And that really blew my mind, because I clearly remember, just like everybody else, that he worked for Publishers Clearinghouse. I remember hearing him say it. I remember hearing him say Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes. It's an anchor memory of mine, even hearing him say it. And of course, the Prize Patrol and him going to the door. So this is one of my biggest, if not my number one biggest Mandela effect.
Oh yeah, this is one of the big ones. I'm looking here at this video here. This is the title of this is Ed McMahon and Publishers Clearinghouse. So let's see. It's only a minute long. I'm sure I can play some of it. Let's see if it'll quit swirling. I missed. It says this is smoking gun of the Mandela effect residue. Ah, come on. Mr. Bruzo, I'm Ed McMahon, and we're signing up people for. Yeah. Miss Murphy. Come on. I have gigabit internet. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the AI interfering. That happens sometimes. They've crashed 5 hard drives of mine. We're starting up. No. Oh boy. Let me see. I may have to switch to my other computer. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. Can you guys hear me? Jeff?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay.
Hey, Fizzy.
I'm gonna log onto my other account so I can play. I want to share some of these that video because it says it's a smoking gun. I'll see if it'll let me do it on my Mac.
All right. Fizzy, they're both the cool kids chats, I'd like to think. Whether or not that's true, I guess, is to be determined by whoever's listening.
I love that abbreviation TBD. To be
The what?
determined. TBD, to be determined.
Yeah.
All right, there might be 2 Brians here for just a second.
2 Brians are better than 1.
Whoa. Hang on a second. Sorry about that. Okay, did it go away? Jeff? Okay. What in the world? I'm gonna leave the studio on this one. Yeah, sorry about that. Can you guys hear me? Jeff? Jeff, can you hear me? Jeff? Jeff, can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? Jeff? Jeff, can you hear me? Jeff? Can anyone hear me? Jeff? Crap. Hello? Jeff? Jeff, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Come to the light, Jeff. Okay, I see the chats. You guys are saying yes, you can hear me. Okay, I'm just making sure that you guys can hear me. Sorry about the I had to switch computers. Yeah, Sandy's a little bit late today. I don't know what happened. We tried reaching her. Um, Jeff, come back. Jeff. All right. Oh man. Okay. I really wanted to share this residue with you guys. So give me just a second here. Okay, I want to show you the Ed McMahon. Okay, give me 1 second. Ed McMahon smoking gun. There he is, Jeff.
Hey, Brian, I couldn't hear you for a while there.
I don't know what happened. I switched computers because the other computer was like stalling, loading the videos, and I chances are it's probably graphics because I have like gigabit internet now, so it should be no problem. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen right now with you guys so you can see the smoking gun evidence of the Mandela effect. Okay.
Okay. Real quick, Fizzy, please try calling her. Yes.
Yeah, let's see if we can get a hold of Sandy.
Starting to worry a little bit.
Yeah, me too.
Hope she's okay.
All right, so guys, this is very important here. This is the smoking gun evidence, okay?
Mr. DeBruzzo, I'm Ed McMahon. We're signing up people for. Yes, I am. Yeah. Miss Murphy, Ed McMahon. We're starting up. No. Dreams really do come true. No. Yes, Ed McMahon, see. Yes, Ed McMahon. We're having our first ever. Yes. Tuesday night at the high school. We're starting up the neighborhood watch in this area, and here's all the information. Stevie, get down here, please. No, it's just 5, 6, 7, 8. No tango dinero. Neighborhood watch. We're having this neighborhood watch, the first one. Right. I'll come back. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Start a neighborhood watch. It's just one of the many ways you can help make America.
Yeah, so that I mean, I didn't hear the mentioning of Publishers Clearinghouse, so actually that might not be a smoking gun. I want
It
to hear
still is.
What?
It still is. Because he never went to the door in this reality.
Oh, he never did?
No, never handed out big checks. So it is.
Wow.
Why would they go through this whole song and dance? Why wouldn't he correct them? Why wouldn't somebody correct somebody at some point with all this stuff that we find in TV shows and with this stuff and with all the stuff that we see. Somebody would have corrected someone else somewhere down the line.
She says, I'm one of the winners of the Publishers Clearinghouse. McMahon wants to see me right away. Did you hear that?
Yep, that's one of the biggest residues, and they definitely wouldn't have gotten that wrong. That show had such great writers. They knew what they were doing. They would not have gotten that wrong.
No. I wonder if they even know.
A lot of people really don't know. A lot of people that I know still think that he did work for Publishers Clearinghouse. And when I correct them, they come up with some kind of dumb excuse.
Some kind of dumb excuse, huh?
Oh, he worked for 2 companies. Or they'll make up something, without researching it, as usual, like we do. And they'll just make something up stupid as an excuse, and then they'll just blow it off. Then there's others.
And you get that mentality with a lot of folks, like when you tell them about the Mandela effect. To me, it's the most amazing and interesting thing on the planet. I would say it's applied quantum physics, because we really don't understand very much about the quantum, but the Mandela effect sort of maybe explains it a little bit, doesn't it?
Yes, I definitely believe that for sure.
I mean, history's changing. It's like that. It's reminiscent of that Back to the Future scene where the principal goes up to Marty and they touch noses. I don't remember that, but I remember them being inches away.
Same. I
And
remember like you.
And you remember Marty says, well, history's going to change.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yep.
That's very reminiscent of that. I think we have Sandy here now. Hi, Sandy. Good morning.
Hey, Sandy.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. You went muted.
Yeah, I muted on purpose because I was choking.
Are you okay?
Yeah, Fizzy just woke me up. That's great. Thank you, Fizzy.
Thanks, Fizzy.
Thank you, Fizzy.
I have to upload. What have you guys been doing?
We've been talking mostly about the Ed McMahon and also the residue that we didn't get to share on the last show from Being Erica that Jeff found, and it was a very good residue for Who Will Save Your Soul instead of Who Will Save Your Souls, the way it is now in the Jewel song.
I fell asleep looking for Jeff. I looked high and low. Jeff found the Mandela effect, and I was looking for it to put together for tonight's show. I must have watched like 70 clips, and I can't find a single one.
Thank you, Fizzy.
Fizzy's here. Thanks, Fizz.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Fizzy
Fizzy.
said I got her. She coming. So Rudy, I want to just say a couple. There's been a couple of messages here in the chat. So Rudy P says, I would get Publishers Clearinghouse in the mail. I even sent one. So Rudy, I got to ask you, do you remember? I don't know if you posted in an earlier part of the chat here. Do you remember Ed McMahon's face on the front of that in the Publishers Clearinghouse on the envelope, like I do? So yeah, Valine says yes. He was on Publisher Clearinghouse, not in this reality. You got a couple people waving. Hey, Sandy. Weird World of Wilson says hi, Sandy.
Hi. I'm
Valine says,
uploading slides. I can't see the chat, guys. I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Brian.
John Thomas says you never emailed me back, Sandy. So you got somebody that sent you an email. John Thomas here said you never emailed me back. That's okay. Well, what?
I was just gonna say, many people don't know it was a really rough past 2 weeks. I have not checked my email. There's been a lot going on the home front over here, but everything's okay. It's just I've been dealing with a lot of stuff the last couple weeks, so I will definitely check my email. Brian, did we give everybody the new email? I don't think we did.
What is the new email?
I don't even remember. I have to go look. I'm trying to upload it. We'll talk about it later. Let me get this stuff uploaded. Jeff, were you asking something?
I was, but I completely forgot what I was going to ask.
Brian, where are you? Is he here?
I'm here.
Oh, you went super quiet.
Oh, sorry. I got a survey back from AT&T. They were asking me about how Jordan helped to resolve my issue yesterday when I upgraded to gigabit internet. I said, yes, great. Except only one thing. I didn't read it very well, and I marked it a 1. I thought 1 was excellent. Turns out 1 was very dissatisfied. And so I had to, when it said, is there anything else you would like to mention? I said, yes. I meant to mark the first one a 5. Sorry. So Weird World of Wilson says, I don't think history is changing per se. I think it's an alternate version of history. You get what you see, which version of history, depending on which timeline you're on. So Fizzy Pop says, my mom still plays Publishers Clearinghouse, and she remembers McMahon.
So you just reminded me what I wanted to say.
What's that?
So I was watching a stream a while back where they were talking to Brian Stavely on one of the shows he was on. And one guy mentioned that he knew somebody who won the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes. And that particular person said that Ed McMahon came to their door.
Ed
Wait, what
McMahon
now?
actually came to their door?
Yeah. That's what he said, that the lady told him that.
Yeah, that's a little crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
I'm asking in the chat if anyone would like to join our panel for this episode. Sandy, how much more time on the upload?
I'm sorting the folders now.
How long will that take?
Probably about 10, 15 minutes
Okay.
at the most.
Okay, good. I would like to see if anyone wants to join the panel.
What about Fizzy?
Yeah, that would be great if Fizzy would show up in the panel. Yeah. Fizzy, come on. Jump in. The water's warm. You know, it's funny. I live in an apartment where they have a hot tub. You know, I know that's weird, huh? It's not like a luxury type style apartment, but they have a hot tub, and it's open all year round.
Wait a minute.
My
How
mom's
can Fizzy
apartment
jump
complex
in?
has that.
Okay, Karen is confused, Sandy. She says there's 2 chats, Sandy's and Brian's. Hey, Brian Staley's here.
Hey, Brian. Karen, Brian is
Hey,
streaming
Brian.
it to my channel and his channel at the same time. So there is 2 chats. There's a chat on my channel.
Yep.
And a chat on Brian's channel.
Yes. It's weird. It's like this parallel universes with your channel and my channel right now.
Guys, you got you're saying for Fizzy to join. How can she join? Did you?
Okay, do you have Fizzy's email? Just forward her the link.
No, it's not that. That's what I was going to say. Did you send her the link?
I did not
I was
send her a link
confused.
yet. Did she agree to joining? Because we have to find out if she's interested in joining.
I have no idea because I'm uploading. I can't see.
Fizzy, do you want to join our chat?
Well, I sent it to her. If she wants to join, she can join. I
Okay.
am going back to here.
Now, should we ask if anyone got to see Scarab's show last night? I guess the question's out there. So, did anybody get to see Scarab Performance's show last night?
With Fizzy.
Yes, with Fizzy was on there, and so yeah, so it's good. I'm glad that Scarab is back doing live shows again because he was gone for quite a while, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, Rudy says I can't join at the moment. Thanks for asking. Karen is actually on both chats. Karen, do you have a wrench on Sandy's channel?
Yeah, she does.
She does? Okay, good.
I am.
All right, so we're still a good 10 to 15 minutes away from uploading, being complete. Would anybody care to? I can send the phone number if you want to call in. And somebody want to call in, we could do that. I'm curious to talk about either any new effects, or if you guys want to mention, you know, like your take on the Mandela effect, because that's the reason why we come together, because there's so many different perspectives on the subject of the Mandela effect, you know, as far as what the causes might be, or where you stand with it. Some of you guys have different backgrounds too, like the medical field, or you might be science or math, or you might be history. There's the Mandela effect seems like it hits every single one of those, you know? So we all have different takes on the Mandela effect, and I'm curious to know what yours is. Oh, wait, hold on. New window. Hold on. New window. So it keeps bringing me back to the StreamYard. Give me one second.
Is Brian Stavely still in the chat?
Yeah, Brian Stavely would probably join us if he wants, he could join.
I'm wondering if he remembers that particular show he was on, with the thing that I mentioned, with that host of that show saying that he knew somebody who won the sweepstakes, and Ed McMahon coming to their door. Wonder if he'd remember the guy saying that to him. It was a while ago. It's an older show he was on. It was months ago, maybe even a year ago at this point.
Hey, it's a Weird World of Wilson says Forrest Gump's shoes are muddy now when he's sitting on the beach. I clearly remember them being white shoes. Anybody remember that one?
Yeah, they were white shoes. So much in that movie has changed.
Yo, hey, Voynich. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna post the phone number in the chat. You guys are welcome to. Anyone wants to join in, we can have a good conversation. Hold on, let me bring this up here. I was in the wrong tab. I was in the my other email. Hold on. So sorry. I haven't used my Mac computer in like a month. And you guys Did you guys see the phone number? Anyone? Did you guys see the phone number I posted?
I can't see the chat. I'm sorry. I'm focused on uploading and getting them in the right order.
Hey, pushing button 62, welcome. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like and subscribe. Splatter. Hey, Splatter.
Hey guys, good to see you again.
Yeah, we got time while we're waiting on Sandy to finish uploading. Just giving you guys an update. So we're probably about 5 to 10 minutes away from her uploading. We have time for one of you guys can call in if you like. And the phone number I posted, let me post it again. Okay, just in case, because it does get lost in the mix. There's the phone number to call in. Oh wait, your phone number is not showing up on Sandy's chat. Let me post as you, Sandy, okay? There you go.
Go
That's
for
going
it.
to your chat now. Okay. So you guys see that? You guys are welcome to call in. Yo, Fizzy, are you got time to call in? Okay, Splatter says it's here now. Life is like, Ann Gainer says life is like a new box with old chocolate covered shoes inside. That's funny. Yeah, Jennifer says I thought StreamYard usually has a link to join. That is true. Usually there is a link to join. Fizzy Pop says I can't call. I don't have good service. I thought we were gonna pirate this thing. What do you mean by pirate? So there's kind of another
No.
Mandela effect. Speaking of
Oh,
pirates,
wait.
guys.
Fizzy, I actually sent you a StreamYard link.
Yeah, Fizzy, there's a StreamYard link. But yes, so what I remember is with pirates who had the eye patch. I thought it was because like a shark got their eye or something like that. Either that or they were swashbuckling and maybe somebody with a sword cut their eye out or something. That's what I always thought. Did you guys think that too? Hang
I'm
on, we got
sorry.
somebody. I think somebody is trying to call in. Let me call them back. Hold on.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, what's going on, Brian? It's nice to meet you, man. I never called in or anything.
Oh, hey, welcome. Who is
Sandy.
who is this?
I was just messing with Sandy. This is John Thomas.
Oh, hey, John Thomas. Hey,
Hi,
welcome.
John. I'm listening. I'm just focusing on the upload, but I'm here.
Hey, how's it going on? Yeah, I think, man, I think God is doing this Mandela effect. You know what I mean? I know it sounds weird. I know people got off on like rabbit holes with Zachariah Stinson and following like Sumerian tablets that, you know, God's a lizard, he's an alien and all this stuff. But I think the way it works, everything in the universe is inside of his head. You know what I mean? And so if there's aliens or people flying around, none of those people can be God. If you can see his face, you can't go see God. You know what I mean? But what I think what's happened is they turned us into like a bunch of scientists. You know what I mean? And look at how much we followed science with this, you know, this lockdown crap, and it's just whatever the scientists think now. I think they were fed a bunch of information about who God is and what He wants and stuff, and they, you know what I mean? And that's why you can't convince people it's any other thing than like robots or computers or, you know, portals, or it's got to be the devil because he wouldn't mess with the Bible if it was God. You know what I mean? But I have a massive story if you guys have time.
Sure. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah. When the Mandela effect first hit for me, it was 2014, right? And I planned a trip actually to Jerusalem. And I was going to keep the Feast of Tabernacles and stuff. And there's massive residue to this. And it was 2014. Nobody's talking about it. I told my brother when I got back, but Isaiah 4 verse 1 changed, like right in front of me. And I'm not lying about this. I was in a hostel with a guy that was Jewish. He was from Detroit, but he lived in Jerusalem now, and he was staying at the hostel so he wouldn't have to walk to the old city. You know what I mean? For, you know, to be in the old city during the festivals and stuff. So he's telling me like, and he was inviting me to these dinners, and there was this Filipino woman that he was having an affair with. He pointed her out to me and stuff, and he felt bad later when we got back to the hospital. And he was, you know, saying, "What do I do?" And I said, "Why don't you just tell your wife? You know what I mean? You follow the laws of Moses." And he said, "Yeah, I know all that, but you know, it's modern times." And he said, "I still feel bad about it." And then I said, "Well, you know what Isaiah says in Isaiah 4 verse 1, and I quoted that to him. He said, "I've never heard that in my life." And he's studying Isaiah with his rabbi Maklis at the time, the whole book. And I said, "Yes, let me go get it." And I got out my Bible, and I go to read it. I find the passage I'm looking for. I'm looking at it. Everything's fine. I walk over to him, point it to him, and so I'm looking at it while he's reading it, and it's changed from the point that I looked it up. Walked over to him, and then showed him it. It used to say 6 women will take hold of one man, and then it said 7. By the time I got over there, I know it sounds incredible, but like you're misremembering, I was a big time polygamist advocate. You know what I'm saying? This is a huge anchor memory for me. I was always talking about how we're dying and our women are out of control. They're shameful. You read the passage and things. So, believe me, I know what it said. I knew right where to find that verse. And then later, the residue in X-Files, there's actually a whole episode of X-Files. I didn't even know this. And I think it's season 2, The Field Where I Died, it's called. It's kind of irony there. Some people think we're dead. But the episode is The Field Where I Died. The guy has 6 women. He's taken 6 wives. He uses the verse to justify it. You see what I'm saying? Motors busting him. They're raiding his compound, and they're demonizing this guy. He's going to give them Kool-Aid if they try to, take the kids. It's basically kind of like a Koresh type of, thing that they're portraying this guy. But they quote Isaiah 4 verse 1 in that episode. It says 7, right? In the episode, it says 7 now.
Mm-hmm.
That's changed. But there's 6 women. There's 6 mugshots, 6 wives. Scully says I have 6 wives to interview. It's all 6. You see what I'm saying? I know it was. Why would the person who knew this obscure verse in the first place? I mean, there's people who don't even know it's in the Bible. He would know this verse and then let them go all the way through it. The writer would, somebody pointed out, hey, wait a second, guys. You know what I mean? We just scripted this for 6 women. There's 6 mug shots at the beginning. There's 6, you know what I'm saying? It's all 6. And then the one time they quoted an episode, it's changed. They did that wrong. Someone would have stopped you. You know what I'm saying? It just wouldn't have come to your mind because people don't know that passage. But see what I'm saying? You put it all together for me. I know who's speaking to me. I know where I was. I know it's all linked in my mind. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not the devil. It's not. I mean, I was at the New Swedes Hostel there on Davis Street, and to me, it's no coincidence whatsoever. He's angry about things, and there's messages in this. We're being mocked. You know what I'm saying? But mainly look at who it's targeting. You know what I mean? When this thing kicked off last spring with, I don't know if y'all remember this, but that Russian invasion thing they gave us, I don't know how real it is, but they told us it was 2/22/22. The invasion began on 22.
Wait, February? It began February 22nd of 22.
Yeah, remember that?
I don't remember the exact date, but yeah, that does sound familiar.
Yeah, it was all 2/22/22 when the Russians first invaded.
And how are what I don't understand is how are they? I heard this joke on Saturday, not Saturday Night Live. It was who's that comedian? What's his name? Dave Chappelle. And see, he is a Mandela effect for me because his show used to be the Dave Chappelle Show, and now it's Chappelle's show. And see, Dave Chappelle made a comment about Russia or the Ukraine thing, and he's like, "Yeah, it's like if Russia losing to Ukraine is like, it's like the United States losing to Colorado." I mean,
right.
I thought that was pretty funny. But
you know who else did something like that was Roy Jones Jr. You remember when he fought Mike Tyson recently, and Ray Corona was the referee? I thought it was like a hologram light show. Nobody was even there. It was Mike Tyson fighting Roy Jones. It didn't look right. It looked like, you know what I'm saying? It looked like Ray Corona means light Corona. So is the referee a hologram? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's no witnesses. But afterwards, I think it was the Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson were sitting there. You know, they had towels. They just supposedly fought. And Roy Jones Jr. keeps saying, "Shout out to my Russian people. Shout out to my Russian people." Like this is just before it happened. At the end of 21, I think is when the fight was. He kept saying, "Shout out to my Russian people." What? I mean, what is? I didn't think about that then. You know what I'm saying? But what's that about? Why is he just out of nowhere saying that shit? It's not even in the news yet. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But no, yeah, to me, that's what all this is. You know what I mean? It's an entirely linked up thing. But when this thing first happened, I don't know if you remember this, when the Lebanon thing, with that thing blew in the port of Lebanon, a whole bunch of name changes changed. Lebanese, I remember 2 E's, just like cheese. You know what I mean? You can't make a long E with 1 E, like sleep and all that. You see, all the E's is changed. It was Lebanese. Taiwan used to have 2 I's in it. I mean, Chinese, Japanese, all the E's has changed to Essie at that time. And then Kiev changed to Kiev. I don't remember if you remember the city of Kiev.
Yeah, we were, that was a big one when that happened.
Yes.
Completely agree.
Right when they did that, it changed to Kiev. And that is not spelled Kiev.
No, exactly. The Kiev word changed for me too.
Who's doing that? That means that it's just like when the Air Force paints a target. You know what I mean? Somebody's got them highlighted. You know what I mean? They're the ones that I think scripted all this. How would, Chappelle know things coming up? So, and they're just trying to control history. And they think that's their power, because if they just kill everybody, they're going to have a bunch of news stories that they can show, you know what I mean? This is how it happened, kids. You know what I mean? They'll be listening to Bill O'Reilly and then Hannity and them break it down, you know, and it's all just nonsense. And when we're watching it now, it's like it's so absurd. But if we're all gone and they're teaching the children this is what really happened, they're going to think this is real stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. To go on further, which what you were saying, splatter. I guess that's for. Is it? I don't know the
What?
Roman numerals. I guess that's 4,
420.
10, 10.
It's 420.
Oh,
What is it?
4, 10, 10? I don't know.
420, guys. Do you know what that
Oh,
is?
hang on. No, maybe that means 19. I think it means 19. Splatter
No.
19.
No, no.
God wants us to. Anyway, let me just say what he says here. God wants to see who is paying attention. I think so too.
Absolutely. And it tells you what you were paying attention to. There's no way to hide it. You know what I mean? Like if all I did was play Nintendo, the only changes I know about is on the Nintendo. You see what I'm saying? It's showing us what we was paying attention to. I mean, there's certain things that we all know. You know, we know Ed McMahon, the guy on the envelope had glasses. The little cartoon. You know what I mean? The guy had glasses, and he all fooled us when he was little. Made us think we won money, and then he had to be real sad. I mean, everybody did it. We know what the guy looked like. We know who the culprit.
Well, we just lost Brian on the caller. John. It's just the three of us right now.
Hey, Fizzy.
Okay. Hey, what's up,
Hey,
you
Fitz.
guys?
Thank you, Fitz.
I'm not really awake
Yeah.
either, but I saw they were looking for Sandy. I'm like, oh, I better wake her up and. Oh, are they back?
Yeah, you were saying to you, it's no doubt in your mind.
No. That the higher power that's doing this, it's the people that with all the money he's mad at. You know what I mean? They're the ones controlling this shit. You know what I mean? I believe in a son of God. I believe blesses the poor. You know what I mean? I believe that's the only way you can see God.
And I saw recently where
That you can see his son, and that's it. His son lives in his head too, with us.
You know what they were saying. You know what they were saying about that singer that starts with an M and ends in an A. You know, she sang Vogue and many other songs in the 80s and 90s. I don't know if I can say her name.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It kind of sounds like Donna. I'll say that. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, she came out mocking God in one of her new albums. She's back. Like somehow she's back again, and she's mocking God in her new album. And it just makes me wonder, like, okay, was she always like this, or I mean,
I think they're demon possessed, and I think the demons and the angels is all us. I think it's cyclical, and the demons are like little kids that, you know, we locked in cages, we burned alive, we put microwaves and ovens, and you know what I'm saying? That's who I think those people are, and they basically, if you remind them of the people that did that to them, they've got jurisdiction to take you over. That's what I believe. But I believe if we ascend, we'll become the angels. You know what I mean?
yes,
It's us. And that this all starts over again. I believe not in reincarnation, but I do believe the earth resets. And if you become deified, you'll see it all happen. You know what I mean? And then this whole story is an old story that I think we've relived a bunch of times. That's why I think it explains the deja vu. You know what I mean? I can always come back when I do, and either, you know what I mean, I get taken over by my demons, or I float on. You know what I'm saying? It's one or the other, or I'll just keep doing this. That's what I believe. But I don't believe that's why. You know what I mean? If there was an alien and he said, "Hey, I'm Jehovah," or whatever, you know what I mean? You don't bow to anybody that you can see what he told us called no man on earth father. So that means even if he's there, you don't call him father. Now, if he calls you up to heaven, maybe, you know, you worship him there in heaven and you call him father there. But But if anybody's down on earth, you don't call them bother nobody. I don't care who they said they was. I'm looking right at you. You're not my bother. You know what I mean? And that's what I think's coming. That there's a whole nother level coming. And I think Madonna and them, they know more than we do. They've got access to the Google algorithms. You know what I mean? They know how much has really changed, how much people couldn't spell words. Immediately, that has to be telling them things. Nobody can spell this word now. Nobody can spell that word. You know what I mean? If they got programs, they know when it's happening. They're able to like be on top of it, and I think that's why they're getting like they are, hard-hearted, closed off, want to shut it down, reset. Because you remember, I mean, in 2019, Mandela effect was only getting way bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And 2018, this is the weird thing for me, believe this or not, but in 2018, I had never heard of the Mandela effect. Even though that thing happened to me in Jerusalem, and I told my brother, there was no Mandela effect. I mean, at all. I was living Livingston. I was driving a garbage truck. I mean, it was real laid back. And, I mean, all I did was smoke. And, I mean, we talked about all kinds of shit. I mean, these people, we tripped on mushrooms, all sorts of stuff. You know, the guys were throwing garbage on the truck. I mean, we talked about everything. They were into all that stuff. I mean, some of them believed, you know, God was a lizard man. He was King Koopa. He was something like that. You know, he's a big turtle or something. He's some kind of reptile. I mean, you couldn't talk him out of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But they would have mentioned Mandela effect as far out as they was into their stuff. I told them this stuff, and they didn't believe me. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was saying. I was saying God has the power. I don't even have to believe it anymore than seen it. That you wouldn't even know if this person showed up to you 5 minutes ago. You think you know him your whole life. You know what I mean? If he can control what we remember. I mean, I was having to grasp it then, and I was telling them on the garbage truck. They never said you're talking about the Mandela effect. They never said that. And then all of a sudden, I moved back to Fort Worth. Like I drove on New Year's. So it was like a blizzard. And the next day was January 1st, and I drove up to. But I know I didn't crash and die. You know what I'm saying? I was going super slow. Anyways, but so I come up to Fort Worth the very next day that I get on my laptop, and I log into my new what's it called? You know, Wi-Fi and stuff. Mandela effect is like all over my YouTube. I didn't even know what they were talking about. And when I started clicking on it, I said, wow, this is awesome, man. Now people know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? I thought we were going to be like famous on that. I mean, I had a story. All these people had stories. I knew what they were saying was real. It was like, you know what I mean? It was a happy, happy time at the beginning of 2018. And, but little by little, we started noticing people's reaction. Because then I could tell everybody, you know what I mean? Man, just go on and look at it. See, they call it a Mandela effect. You know what I mean? I'm not lying. But you know what I mean? In 2018, we've seen that the reactions were, it wasn't normal. You know what I mean? Something had them. There was some reason why they were having all the same reaction to it. They were scared of it. You know what I mean? I think actually it was familiar. And I think our spirits know what's coming, and we're in denial. We know this spells some sort of doom. We've done this before. And that's what's got them. And you know what I'm saying? Something has them. I mean, some people listen to you to a certain degree. Some people get mad, real mad at you.
Yeah, and that's kind of like it kind of coincides with the story of the sower. You remember the parable of the sower?
Exactly.
Some people hear it, and it'll take root. Other people, it just won't take root at all. Right?
Yeah. Right. Some people won't do nothing for them. Some people does a little something. I mean, like you said, I get different levels of resistance, but it's almost like you say, it's almost like scripted levels. They're all on the same page. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where each one's willing to go with you, and then they all stop at the same place. There's no more for
Yes.
years. But
it does seem mechanical or scripted, you know?
yeah, I think it's us. That could have happened to us, but I don't know what we did. I think it was we were discontented with the way things were. You know what I mean? I think if you're happy, there's no reason for you to ascend. I mean, you were having a good time. I mean, you might have did bad things. Think about Donald Trump and them. What does he need to be saved from? You know what I mean? They get to tell lies and laugh at us all day and pretend they love us. And you know what I'm saying? And for all we know, that there were people getting locked up on January 6th. I don't know if there was. Useful idiots that they used to make things real. I don't know. But, I mean, I don't believe in any of those news stories. I believe every bit of that. I don't even think it's their names. I don't even think those, Clapper, Mueller, Skipper, Tripper, and all that bullshit. Trapper and Clapper. I mean, do we believe that's their real names? I don't.
I've always heard this kind of echoes back to what Shakespeare said, that the world is a stage. You know?
Exactly. I think they wrote this shit for themselves, probably in the 1800s, with H.G. Wells in them. They came up with them names, and I'm Mueller, and I'm Crapper, and you see what I'm saying? And who do they represent? They probably, there's probably other books that tell you who it is that they modeled those people from history that they hate. Who's Crapper? He's somebody from, caused trouble in the Roman Empire back in, and then we're going to relive him, make them relive, and the Crapper's on the loose. He's you see what I'm saying? He's money laundering. He's doing this, and then they're just toasting and laughing. And we believe we're after, these people, and we're not. I just think they're the rich people's probably illegitimate children that get to play these roles, and that's what they get. You know what I mean? That's what I think they are. And then they call them politicians. I mean, look at Tucker Carlson. How much, I don't watch Tucker Carlson, but have you noticed how much he's starting to look exactly like George W. Bush?
Kind of.
I'm real good with facial recognition. I'm talking about, I can spotlight. I found a guy's long lost dad one time. That's no lie. I knew it was his dad. And the guy's sort of related to me. He's one of my cousin's half brothers. Anyways, what was I saying? Tucker Carlson looks just like George Bush every day. I mean, they're all laughing at us. And that's why this is happening to them. That's why they're angry. There wasn't nobody that was supposed to do this to them. You know what I mean? That's what, like Pharaoh said. Same stuff. And what happens is that we're seeing the stages of what happened to Pharaoh. Their hearts get hardened. You know what I mean? They don't want to accept it. You're the problem. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're calling everybody lazy while they work way harder than you. You know what I mean? You just can't make it to where anybody can live whatsoever. Even if they are happy to be slaves. You're just making it too hard now. You know what I mean? Then God hears that. And then people like them don't like to be the one with everybody looking at them. Because remember, it says that the wise men and everybody eventually had to turn on Pharaoh. But it didn't stop him. He still, rode out with people and got them drowned and things. But there was no choice. He had ruined them. It was, he was the problem. At some point, your entourage has to turn and look, you know what I mean, and say, you're out of power. You know what I mean? I think that's what's happening to them, and they're doing this desperate shit, and it's so shameful. Pharaoh will stand up and condemn these people. You know what I mean? They're making everybody look good. But, we've come further down the line. I mean, what do you expect? To me, I think if we just start realizing we're the children of all time, you know what I mean? We keep thinking these scientists are anything but little kids like the rest of us. You know what I mean? Maybe they know something today. You know what I mean? Tomorrow it'll change, and it'll be a big joke, and you know what I mean? But we keep seeing them like Fauci's an old man and Biden's an old man. These ain't old men, man. The old people are gone. You know what I mean? we got to wake up. But that's what I think's happening here. There's no doubt in my mind.
I mean,
Well, you know where I come from. I don't know if you, John Thomas, I don't know if you've seen my.
I used to listen to Scarab, and that's how I would hear Sandy.
Yes, yeah. Sandy is on Scarab Show sometimes, and Fizzy's on there usually all the time. I mean, this is what my firm belief is that God is the creator of our universe, and that He's still in charge here. Even though I think Satan is causing the Mandela effects, but God is allowing it to happen right now because He's angry with us. And this is a part. This is a part of what's to come ahead. We already know that some big tech companies, I won't say who, but we already know some big tech companies are working on a digital sort of passport to get you through to places, and it's all going to be tracked. I mean, we're going to be tracked. And what's kind of, to me, I feel like the facial recognition is going to become a big part of it now. And you're going to see a lot of deep fakes out there. There's going to be deep fakes, and there's going to be more cybersecurity issues, companies getting hacked. And so you know, we live in a tormentuous world here. I don't even know if that's a real word, but we live in a world of torment.
Exactly. They're
God
making
is still
the
in
torment
control.
Worse, just the same thing. They're making it unbearable. A world of torment. That's what I'm saying. Same thing.
You know, I wanted to thank you, John Thomas, for coming on and sharing your portion there, and keep on believing. Don't lose your faith, no matter what happens.
and don't think you're crazy, because the first thing you said was that you said something along that you may think I'm crazy. A lot of people believe God is at the root of all of this. You're not alone in that. That is not a crazy thought at all. So don't start it out like that, is what I'm saying.
And I actually had like a silly one that happened like in 2010. I didn't want to believe it. That one made me did kind of think I was crazy, but I used to watch the Vikings a lot. Remember that old movie, The Vikings, with Kirk Douglas?
Mm-hmm.
I had like a little ritual when I'd come home. You know what I mean? I'd start making dinner. I was single at the time. And everything, loaded DVD, everything just came on, you know, when I came in, and the Vikings were playing again. And the part where the witch is there with Eric and Sandpiper, and he's tied up in the water. He started getting, remember, he couldn't feel his legs. He says, "Keep tied on my legs." And then she says, "You must move your legs, Eric." But she said, "You must move," like that. She said a move, right? She said it all like really, you know, really emotional with like her whole chest. She said, "Move your legs." Now, and I used to laugh at that. And then he'd call on Oda, and he said, and Oda and all that. I know that anchored into my mind. Wow, she said that. And one time I was telling my brother, same brother I told about Jerusalem, and because I used to say that, you know, they didn't know where I was quoting about move your legs, and then I told them, and then and they were like, "I don't think she says it like that," because people say I exaggerate a lot, right? And then when I watched it, she just says, like, plainly, she says, "You must move your legs, Eric." You know, like she didn't even care. You know what I mean? And I was like, wait a second. And then they were all laughing at me. You know what I mean? And you know, because they say that was their point. It's not just my brother was there, my sister was there, my brother-in-law, and they all wanted to see what this was. And we're all high and drinking and shit. So I put it on, and it's nothing like I say. You know what I'm saying? How you feel in a situation like that. And then Kitala says, "Let's move your legs." And then you think you're crazy. And then they said, "Well, I don't know what to tell you. I just laughed at them." You know what I mean? They say how far out they knew I was. So I just kept telling them, "I don't know what to tell you. I know what she said." We just watched it, you know. Eventually, they do kind of get a little, you know. This is crazy now.
Just don't let it. I
That ain't
wouldn't.
how she says it.
Don't let it get the best of you. That's all I'm saying. Like Orla Greg here says, it takes extraordinary courage and determination to realize that you are not misremembering things. I fully believe in that.
I agree with that too.
Exactly. I know I wouldn't, because it was just like, you know, I had everything set up, and usually I was using my Foreman grill. Everything was easy, you know, and at the time, so it was Vikings every time I sat down to eat that evening. You know what I mean? Just before I rolled a joint or whatever. So I know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And that would always be playing, and then that was probably the funniest part of the whole movie, and the most inspiring at the same time. You know what I mean? Then he believes in his God, and he calls, and you know what I mean? I know how it went. You know what I mean? It didn't go like that. It sounds absolutely ridiculous, and you do sound crazy, like Sandy was saying, but it does feel good for people to give you the time of day. You know what I mean? Not crazy. As long as you don't, you know, go see one of them, they won't pronounce you crazy.
It's true.
But there's no way you can say that. It's getting more and more dangerous to say it without them saying, you know what I mean? Dementia is what they'll try to say.
Yeah, there's always going to be some kind of excuse for it.
Exactly. I know exactly what she said and how she said it. She opened her eyes like real big and like moved in when she said it. Now it's all different. I mean, completely different. But
we just have to trust our memories and remember. We have to trust our memories. Like, there's been plenty of times I've presented Mandela effects where I feel like I'm completely alone. Like, there might be one person in the chat who remembers it like I do, and I think there's going to be one like that today. But
morning, Dan.
Morning. Oh, good morning, Dan.
Hey, but, good morning, Dan.
Hey.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
I want to say I appreciate everybody coming over
Thank
to the show because I fell asleep. I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
Well, Brian was asking me what pirating means, and pirating is basically when I send the link to all my friends and we take over the show.
You're taking over your broadcast. It's happened in the past. We're real good at it. We're very proficient pirates.
That's good, because I literally was awake until about, I'd say 45 minutes before the show, and I crashed.
I know when I called Sandy, she was just like, hello, and I'm just like, Sandy, everyone's looking for you. She's like, why?
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God.
So cute. Why? What do you want?
Oh, I was like, busy? Why are you calling me on the phone?
Well, I like how they added FaceTime audio only, because sometimes when you don't have service, you can only FaceTime, and sometimes when you just don't look right, you're like, I don't want to FaceTime. So I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, good morning.
I didn't even know you used FaceTime, so that's amazing. I would have answered it anyway.
Oh.
Yeah, I popped in earlier and I was just like, wait a minute, let me check the coffee. How much have I drank? Yeah, I don't know if I got to get to a certain level. So I was like, maybe I'll wait. Oh, okay, I've had enough, but I will probably stop and make a cup again. I still need to wake up.
Yeah, I'm not awake that much either.
No, we were up late last night. Yeah,
so really quickly, in my chat, Xavier San Diego says, glad to see everyone. Hey, Dan, how are you?
How are you? How is everybody?
Yeah, Scarab, it's good to see you broadcasting again. We missed you, Dan.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not doing it as much as I did before. Obviously, I work and stuff, but I am trying to, do it more often. I took a hiatus for a bit, and I just thought, you know what? I just need to unwind a little bit and think. I've seen stuff I want to broadcast about. I mean, whatever, but it's just everything's so crazy out there right now, especially since I've gotten more into the political realm of stuff. And I still talk Mandela, of course, but I've kind of changed my platform a little bit, and just because I've been talking about Mandela for like 5 freaking years, man, it's like I just have to do something else just to kind of keep it fresh. And
but
I think it all. Yeah.
You are one of the pioneers of the Mandela Effect community. Like
Oh,
you
thank you.
started way back when, like went back in what 2016 or something. I remember seeing you for the first time on there.
Well, Brian, the truth is, this is Mandela fact. You want to go back to that kind of stuff, is the first time I started actually podcasting, my first ever guest was you. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
You were my first guest. Like the first time we were doing it, me and Life Matrix. He was like, we should bring on a guest. I'm like, okay, well, who do you want to bring? And he was kind of going out there, looking for people, and you were the first dude, man. So
I was so nervous too. I was really nervous. I'd never been on anyone's show before.
Yeah. You did great. I mean, we were all nervous, bro, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know what the hell I was doing. And I was just like, well, okay. You hit the live button. I was trying to, just figure it all out, honestly. And we were just talking about Mandela stuff and whatever. But yeah, man, you were the first dude that came on to my show as a guest. So very, very, very unique. So.
Yeah. I had forgotten all about that. I can't believe that.
Yep.
So many years ago.
Yeah. And then we had other people, and then for a while it blew up. For about a year or two. With the live streaming, that seemed like the platform everybody was going to back in the day. And if you remember, it was Google Hangouts. You could just go live with Google Hangouts and stuff.
With Google Hangouts,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. And then so we had a bunch of people. Then Fizzy and I became pirates, like what she's talking about. The story is because people would, be up late at night, and they would Google Hangout live stream, and it'd be like 3 a.m. People's talking and whatever. Iman, all those. You remember, Mr. Iman? Obviously, you remember, or Mrs. Iman. You remember him, so you remember all that stuff. So the thing is like we would have all that, and he would fall asleep. He'd fall asleep, and we would jump in his broadcast and take it over.
That was so much
fun. I gotta ask you though, Scarab. So, I'm fairly certain this was one of your earlier videos. Do you remember covering Gatorade, Quench Your Thirst versus Thirst Quencher? Did you do that video?
I don't know if I did an individual video. I mean, obviously we touched on them. I don't know, man. I have to go back and look and see if I did a Gatorade one. I can't say for sure, dude. I did. There's I don't remember how many videos. Hundreds of Mandela videos, right? Probably in the hundreds. And
did you get demonetized too? Because I did.
Yeah. I not only got demonetized, I got
like they don't want you sharing nothing. I remember I had there was this video about Ronald Reagan, and it was just a historic video explaining that he had been shot at by the same guy who was jealous. You remember that one? I don't know if you recall that in history.
Well, I remember the guy who shot him.
You remember the lady who did that Copper Tone commercial or whatever? She was a child when that commercial. Jodie Foster. Apparently, Ronald Reagan, and this other guy were in love with the same woman, and so he wanted to shoot at Ronald Reagan. Well, I was showing that video, but I had no idea that caused my channel to become demonetized. Just by sharing that little short clip.
So the story is that Ronald Reagan was in love with Jodie Foster?
No.
Or was it
someone was.
His assassin?
His assassin was in love with Jodie Foster.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't know, man. So the way they demonetize people,
Hinckley. It was Hinckley.
Hinckley, yeah. The way they do this.
His name is Mandela affected, by the way.
Probably.
I think I have a folder on that.
Sure, I can imagine. Steele. I mean, I've seen a lot. There's names in that. There was a guy. There was a plumber. His name Mandela. I'm 100% sure it did. I was looking at my old. So I write down all the invoices right in my database. I kind of keep track. It's like a spend down sheet of all my spending for the month. And I write out, the name of the plumber of the company, and I was like, dude, I know this dude's name changed, man, because it has an H in it now. It's and I was just like, okay, there wasn't an H, and so it's weird because again, it's always I noticed a lot about Mandela, man, and to me, I see a lot of this either like a kind of like a feminine sort of or masculine sort of battle going on here, like the energy wise with the Mandela effects. A lot of the I was like, okay, so stay with me on this. Like, so remember Volvo? It was just a circle. A lot of people remember just the circle, and then now it has the male symbol, and then his name was Wise, Wise. Now it's Hwhise. So that was like, wait a minute, no man, it was just and I have it written Wise. So I was like, dude, no man, there's no way that H was there. So now it's his. Again, I see a lot of this. Now I'm not saying every one of them, but like I do see this like weird like feminine masculine sort of energy battle going down. Obviously, Vesica Pisces, that whole symbolism. There's tons of it, right? And like I was telling people before, I was like, when I researched, man, I was looking into the more esoteric understanding of what was going on here. And I had said that, man, I think this thing, it's weird. So if you think of Vesica Pisces, two circles circle represents the woman. They come together. The center of that is you can also say that the world, the earth, is the woman because of our realm of existence in the physical. And you think of those two circles come together, two worlds. Inside of those two circles, like that overlap, which was, if you think about it, seeing two worlds or seeing multiple worlds, that overlap would be the center of the Vesica Pisces, which actually is called the Mandorla. And I thought to myself, what if they just changed the name to Mandela? It was actually the Mandorla, like maybe it was a Mandorla effect because what we're seeing right now, we saw this happen in the beginning. Like a lot of people don't remember Bloomingdale's, root beer, a lot of these logos that were merging, the O's were crossing over to each other, forming that Vesica Pisces. Very strange, So I always thought, like, is that part of this whole thing, And obviously, there's a lot going on there with that. And again, it's a deeper understanding of stuff, and that's kind of where the Mandela took me, not just talking about the effect itself. I was trying to get down to the bottom of like, what the fuck are we all in here? What is this all about? Obviously, I believe it, and I went with it, but I just I think effects are great to point out, but at the same time, I think it's high time that our researchers and things like that in our community really should be taking a more deeper look at the real meaning of why this is happening and what it means for us in humanity.
Well, yeah, because all we're looking at here is the surface. It's like the tip of the iceberg. There's with icebergs, there's so much more that's underneath the water that we just don't see. We don't see. I don't know if we'll ever find out but through talking with each other, that's what helps us try to understand the meaning of it. Like, what do we have in common?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the commonalities? And Sandy was talking about this poll that we did in the group. And what was the number one reason, Sandy, or number one thing we have in common?
Oh, I'd have to go look again.
I think it was the NDEs. I think a lot of us have had near-death
experiences. Yeah.
That was the number one thing that we all had in common, or most of us had in common.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can't tell you how many times I've escaped death.
Well, that, and there's also that theory, like, if you did die, would you just sort of,
would you just regenerate in a new parallel universe, right? Right.
Well, yeah, if there's like, if there's another place that's very similar to this one and, slight differences are made or whatever, again, Gordy, I think of Gordy Rose, that,
the guys,
yeah, Gordy, who's like, yeah, these parallel dimensions and all this. And then he comes back later and he's like, these crazy conspiracy theorists that think that somehow the D wave is, going into parallel universes and all this other crap. And it's like, excuse my language, but bitch, you're the one who said it on stage. Don't blame me, man. You're the one that put the ideas out there. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's crazy. What the hell?
Well, let me ask you, because
Yeah.
while I got you here, Scarab. So
Yeah.
there came this movie that everybody was really hyped and excited about. Remember?
Yeah.
Remember that director that he
Sure.
came on my channel. We interviewed him. We thought
David
it
Guy
was gonna be
Levy.
a really great movie. It turns out that they make us in the movie, the Mandela affected people. When I say us, we seem more crazy in that movie. Like he's depicted as this sort of crazy man.
Well, not really. I mean, in the
No, not
movie,
really.
it was. I didn't think so. I think what it was is, for a lot of people, they were expecting him to, like, uncover some truths about the Mandela effect. He made
Right.
a movie about the Mandela effect and how could it affect someone's life,
Mhm.
and he had to make it so that the masses could understand it and try to make money off of it. If you made a movie talking about the deeper aspects of the Mandela effect and that, what would the plot be? And you
Mhm.
have to think about it. You have to, like, okay, you're going to fund this thing. You have to get your money back out of it,
Mhm.
or try to. And so, I think that the storyline for the masses was fine.
You think it was good?
I
Okay.
think it was fine. I really, I know a lot of people were bummed out and all this, but you have to understand, like, most people are Berenstain Bears, man. That's where they're at with this. They don't know. They're not even
Exactly.
they don't
Exactly.
even know about, like, continents changing and the time zone being fucked up, and the like, look at the borders between states, and the fact that shit's all moved around, and like, there's major physical changes that have happened, and those alone are
Yeah.
absolutely bizarre. I mean, if you just go into, like, logos and stuff like that, well, you're never really going to see. That's, again, the iceberg analogy. You're just going to see the tip of it. You're not seeing what's underneath.
Yeah, I agree, and because graphic design and logos, a lot of people could argue, okay, well, that logo has changed because the company decided to change it, and so then you'd have to go back and prove, okay, well, this is an old commercial from the 1980s showing you that the logo has changed. Then they're like, well, I don't know, so they'll just pass it off, But if you show them, like, solid stuff, like, everybody knows there were 4 people in the Kennedy car, and I think I remember you were telling people about that is one of the number one Mandela effects. Kennedy, there were 4 people in the car, and now there's 6.
Yeah.
You have to
No,
give
that
them.
one blows me away. I'm like, and it's funny because I remember accepting 6 early on, right? Years before, it was like one of those, when we see it is kind of, it's an individual thing, right? Some certain, some people will experience the Mandela effect, and I say this as an example. Remember the what was it? The shit, which one was it? It was there was a cartoon that changed, and there was a group of people that stated that this cartoon changed back, and for me, it was already that way. And I remember getting onto their show, and I remember getting kind of pissed off, like, what are y'all doing in the man? What are you talking about? It just changed back for you guys. And it didn't flip flop. It's been this way for a while. Like, I mean, they saw another way, I guess, for like 6 months. And I remember going, are y'all crazy? Like, what the hell? Are y'all shilling? Like, what are you talking? And I remember getting, quite upset about that. And then you find out later that people actually experience their own individual reality, at different times. So the Kennedy thing, I remember accepting 6 back a long time ago, when I was researching that, probably about 2010, and watching some videos, that Bill Cooper put out. And I remember seeing the 6 there.
Yeah,
It didn't click with me yet. I knew something was different about the footage, and I thought, but I was so focused on him saying it was a fucking driver shooting Kennedy in the head. Look, he's turning around, and then now, and oddly enough, in this reality, I think most of us agree it was probably Jackie had something to do with it. The way she acted.
the way it looks like she shot him. I mean, it's so precise. So
yeah.
what it looks like, or what I hear now from, like, History Channel and all that, is that 3 people actually shot him, or something like that. It wasn't just one person.
No, I love the AR-15 one. That's the best. That the driver. I'm sorry. The one of the Secret Service dudes had the AR-15, and because the gun was so effed up in the beginning, like, it went over a bump in the road, and it went off and just happened to shoot Kennedy right in the freaking head. And I'm like, oh, get out of here. So that's
Yeah.
that because they heard the shots and they were like, what? So they, in their rush to, save the president, they actually shot him. And this
Yeah.
isn't a moving motor. Like, okay, so you want me to believe this crazy theory versus the fact that they were able to snipe him out in the car and and yeah, and hit him with that type of accuracy or whatever. And so I started saying, dude, you know what? The more I found out about that, and this is after Mandela, like I didn't even know a lot of the facts about this thing. Did you know that it took 11 years for them to even show the Zapruder film?
That sounds a little fishy.
Okay, now wait. The day of
The original film was lost, or it got damaged in the flood or something, didn't it?
I don't know about that, but what I do know is that
Something
the
happened.
one they presented to us was 11 years old. Okay, so there's that fact. Fact number 2. That they came out and they were interviewing Zapruder like the day of or the next day, saying that he had the film of the shooting. Now, time out. Let's think about this. 1960s technology. This isn't digital technology. You don't know what the F you got until you develop that film. How do you know you captured it? He was already touted as the guy that had the film and that one day it would be released when they hadn't even seen it, dude. You could have left the fucking lens cap on. You don't know. Why was the media portraying him, putting that narrative out there, saying that Zapruder is the man? He's got the evidence. One day we'll see it. 11 years go by. They have 11 years to doctor the evidence. You're telling me that you had 11 years to doctor that shit and make it right? Yeah. So my point is to the whole thing, right, is on that day, because nobody had cameras, nobody else had any individual way of filming the event. How do we know that's the event? We do know that in 11 years they did reenact the event. So let's not be stupid. They could have completely reenacted an event to give us the narrative. It might not even happen like that, dude. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's how crazy and wild this world is when you think about it, and the manipulation goes. I mean, it's absolutely bizarre. But yeah, I don't believe for a second when they said Zapruder. I was like, bullshit, man. Those old cameras, you got to take that shit to Fox Photo and wait a week and hopefully it comes out. You don't know. Like that's not the way it works. Anyway, so I just think that when you hear the story, you have to go deeper and look at what they're telling you and see the level of bullshit. There's a lot that came out, and I think because of Mandela, it's like some more truths kind of were revealed. I never saw the interviews with Zapruder. I never knew about all that stuff. We only were given the narrative of it's the conspiracy. So here's how it happened. Really? And the Hollywood elite gave us the conspiracy, and we don't question it. Oh, come on.
Oh yeah,
It's just like, yeah,
Karen, we're not allowed to question the narrative. Anyone who does, like for instance, I won't say his name, but he got sued over $1 billion, and now he's not able to talk anymore. His last name is Jones, by the way.
Right.
Not allowed to talk anymore, so he got silenced.
Well, he didn't get silenced. You understand what Jones is, right?
He could be a puppet or a toy, whatever you were to
Yeah.
call it.
Dude, listen.
A plant.
When Jones was so like dangerous, they would raid his house on some trumped up charges, say he pulled a gun and kill him or whatever, like they did with Cooper. There's no way, dude. Listen, Jones was created. He's a CIA creation. He was literally out there to steer the conspiracy narrative. They knew people were going to wake up. They knew people were going to start asking questions. But the best thing about it is you can put your boy as the tip of the spear, and that way everybody is listening to not only some truth but a lot of BS as well. So he can steer the narrative in any way he wanted to, and then we're supposed to believe that some freaking kids who had no budget at all made loose change and told us the entire story and the entire narrative, which by the way is woke a lot of people up. But again, they had to control it because they don't want independent people finally asking questions and making videos, and they have to control everything, even the vertical and the horizontal, bro. So
well, yeah, Scarab. Speaking of not being able to do things on television, so so you guys see my screen here. It's talking about you can't do that on television. Sandy says here, I may be alone on this one, but for me, this is 100% a Mandela effect. A change to the classic children's skit comedy show. You can't do that on television.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
This is some of the new effects that we're getting into right now.
Okay, so what? This is a TV show?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
you remember this? It was on Nickelodeon. You
No,
can't do that on television.
I couldn't do Nickelodeon, man. Like the first time I saw Nickelodeon, I was like, I was like, there's something weird about it. Like I watched some Ren and Stimpy, and felt ill after watching it. Like spiritually, I was like, there's something wrong with this fucking cartoon, man.
Oh.
And I didn't have, and we were kind of on a fixed
Yeah.
income. We didn't have cable or anything like that, so I never watched a lot of Nickelodeon. But anyway, go ahead.
No, it's
Yeah,
like
Ren and Stimpy,
you want to
missed the
read this
boat.
one? You could read this one if you want, Scarab.
No, you guys go ahead.
Oh, he does not want to read them.
Okay.
No, I hate your slides. I hate her slides with a passion. So no, go ahead.
Well, it's okay. During the show, the cast would frequently have something dumped on their heads. In your past, what was dumped onto their heads? Was it water, slime, or both? Does anybody remember?
Slime.
It was always slime for me.
Both for me.
Mhm.
Water too?
Yeah, they would say water, and then water would get dumped on their heads. And sometimes when they got slimed, they would say water to get the slime off of them.
I don't remember that
at all.
I only remember slime.
I used to watch this show a lot when I was a kid, and I remember very vividly both being done on the show, both the slime and the water.
Hey,
So I'm not
Jeff.
affected by this.
Jeff,
Yeah.
can you see Brian's chat?
Yeah, can you at least interact with the chat for me, Jeff?
No, that's not. I wanted to see if you could see what they're saying there. So
I can, yes.
okay, so you take care of Brian's chat. I'll take care of my chat. On my chat, we have Analog Lime is green slime. Jency's never seen it. Slime for splatter. Noise Squirrel is slime. Jency's guessing both. Rudy P is green slime. And Deborah O'Connor is slime definitely for me.
All right, let's see.
All right, so we can go on.
Well, no, Jeff's gonna check your chat and see what they're saying.
Check my
there.
chat real quick, Jeff.
All right. Jency, never heard of it. Both for Jennifer M. Green slime for Ann Gaynor. And that's all I see here. We can go on.
All right. So in my past, it was only slime. I have no memory of them having water dumped on them, but I do remember them getting pies in the faces too. I do remember that. So I find it strange that none of them thought to say water after being coated in thick slime or having a sticky pie covering their face, especially considering some of the kids actually wrote some of the show.
And that's the weird part. Jeff actually remembers them doing that.
The entire run of the show. If someone said the word water, they would get a bucket of it poured all over them. There were a few clever moments where someone would say H2O or agua to avoid it. Water was another gag that was used for the entire
That's
run.
it, Brian.
If someone said the word water, they would get a bucket of it poured all over them.
Whoa.
I remember that too.
Apparently it loops the
Water
video.
was another
I don't know
gag
why.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does loop.
I remember that too. They'd say H2O or something else to try to avoid it.
Okay. So I can't decide if this is a close-up of the weird Australia or Africa with significant portions of Europe missing.
I think it's Africa, but it looks like Europe is missing. There's some weird maps in.
And that was in the show?
Yeah, these were all in the show.
Well, the other thing is, do you mention the barf thing? Do you talk about that in here?
No, I don't talk about that in here.
Okay, because that's another Mandela effect. Barf
Wait, what?
versus barf. You
What's
remember?
the change? What's the change with him?
Okay, It used to be his name was Barth, and now it's Barth or
Barth.
something like
Yeah.
that in the Mandela effect.
Some
In
people
the,
remember Barth, Jeff, with
Yeah.
an F.
It was Barth, and then it changed to Barth.
Right. Is
That
Dan
one I
still
am
here?
affected by.
Dan, you still there? I think he jumped off.
Is
Anyway,
Fizzy here?
No,
thank
man,
you for
I'm
joining
here.
us, Scarab,
I
if
I
you
had
can
to
hear me.
get I had to get some coffee, man.
Do you
So
see this map?
Oh,
uh,
okay.
yeah.
Do you see
Okay.
Australia?
Yeah.
I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on there, but
I don't either, man. Like I've always said, my biggest Mandela with Australia, and this is one of those ones where it's like, those things where it's like very, very few people see it. But in my opinion, Australia is like completely up, like flipped. I know it's gonna sound crazy, but I remember Australia looking more like a heart, like upright. Now it looks like it's upside down. To me, I know it's gonna sound crazy to people, but for some reason, I remember that entire continent being it's flipped.
I agree with you 100%.
And it's weird. Let me tell you what. All right, so you know how you find, and here's the goofy part, man. Is like early on, I look for all this stuff. I used to stay up really late looking for evidence and stuff, and I would and wide and and I had these crazy theories, and I was just I don't know what it was. I just didn't want to say all this stuff all the time because there's a point in me that's trying to hold on to some type of reality. It was a very weird time because you're just like I'm out here telling people the world's changing, and then at some point you're kind of like looking at yourself like, well, fuck, man, how crazy am I? Holy shit. So then, anyway, I found I researched Google at the time. Google was a lot better place. There was a lot more information on it. But I researched somehow like the heart, Australia, the heart, or something like that. I did this Google search, and I found all these people doing the heart symbol with their fingers, putting it over Australia. But the problem was now Australia's flipped upside down, and it's like, nah, man, they're trying to form the heart with their fingers to show that it's shaped like a heart. But now when it's with it upside down, it makes no fucking sense. Why wouldn't they at least flip the picture around to resemble a damn heart? And that to me, that was evidence that there was a fucking change with this continent, Obviously it shifted all over the place, and we got that New Zealand is now the land down under. We all know this, Anyway, strange. Yeah. So these old maps, it's pretty cool. It's yeah, what is going on with that, right? We've seen a lot of strange stuff on some of these. There's a few good ones. There was that one that was on the shirt that, and I'm not trying to promote anything, but I made this one for Noble. He found a pretty cool map. Anyway, yeah, but that's neat. I don't know what to say about that, girl.
yeah, these are out of order, by the way. This should have been the last slide, and I think the first slide's last. So there, Brian.
Okay. So yeah, this talks about Australia isn't looking good in location wise, but what is that shape? That's a weird looking shape. It looks like a rooster or something. Anyway, South America looks off, but Australia looks pretty isolated, like I remember, but shaped weird too. Are these screenshots, Sandy? Because they look really blurry.
Yeah, they're screenshots of a show from 1979, so they are pretty
Oh
blurry.
man.
I know. I wish I could
Is there
see
a way
that
that
more
AI
clear.
can clean these up? Can AI clean them up?
No.
Brian,
Yeah.
can you let Noble in?
Noble's backstage,
Sure.
Brian.
Backstage.
Hey, what's up, Noble?
Morning, Noble.
Hey, Noble.
Hey, Noble.
Morning.
We've officially taken over.
Wow, this is like a triple whammy because we're broadcasting on Sandy's show and we have Scarab's people here too. So that is really awesome.
You have officially been pirated. It's all good, man.
Wait a minute. I can't hear. Is Noble say hi?
I think he's getting his audio worked out. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, you have church. If you want to just start moving on to the next one till Noble can say hi.
Well, I'm late, so I'm not going at this point.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, so
Brian.
we're talking about Boston now. Let's talk about Boston.
Let's talk about Boston.
All right, here we go.
Jeff, do you want to read one?
Yeah, I'll read it.
Okay.
Have a little bit of a delay though. All right, here we go.
Brian,
Boston,
you gonna... I was telling Brian to hit hide so that you can't see that white box.
Oh, hide. Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. Boston, Massachusetts is home to so much American history, and one of these historical places has changed for me. What is the name that you remember for the oldest park in America and a 1996 TV show based in Boston? The Boston Sea Blank.
So the is there because sometimes people will leave Boston out and say the blank. That's why it's there. So, and I also saw Residue writing it that way. So Analog Lime says Commons. Guys on the panel, you're welcome to chime in. Fizzy, Dan.
I don't even know.
I have no
I didn't know they had a
idea.
famous park.
It's it, yeah.
The only thing I know is Fenway Park or something.
Commons for me.
I have no dog in this fight.
I don't remember the
visited
show at all.
I don't even remember the show. Yeah, like the show doesn't even. Yeah. I don't even know the people in it.
I remember it being advertised. I never saw the show.
Oh,
but I do remember it being advertised.
No, man, I'm totally lost on this. But I'm listening. Let's see what you got.
Anybody in Jeff? Anybody in Brian's chat?
No.
I'm actually surprised that most. Like, I thought this was common knowledge.
I've only been to Boston once.
I've never been to Boston.
Coldest damn place I've ever been in my life. Oh my God.
Deborah O'Connor says Commons.
Euler Greg says Common, I think. LVK says I can't remember what the oldest park is supposed to be, and I never heard of the show.
Well, the show is only on 2 seasons, so I don't blame you if you don't know the show. I just threw it in there in case it sparks someone's memory.
Jen C says Boston Central.
Good guess.
All right, we can go on, Ryan. It's the second part of this that's the most important anyway.
Holy shit. I added the because I saw some residue with it added, but I do not remember the in front of the name. But both the place and the 90s TV show were Boston Commons in my past. But in this reality, it's always been common. Is this your memory?
So most people in the chat that did know it said Commons, like I remember. Okay, Brian.
If you are from Boston, live there, maybe you won't be affected by this. But for me and many others online, there's a strong recall of Commons. If you remember Commons like I do, be prepared. People online are adamant that it's always been the current reality. Some even seem angry about the idea. Go?
He's in Boston.
Yeah, he would
know. I'm going to get to that. I asked Brian Stavely about this. He has the current memory for the park, but the second part of this, he has no memory of at all. We're going to get to that in a minute. So, like, there's people, like, straight up saying in the comments, even the TV show is called Boston Common, The Common, no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, people are like, next, like the previous comment on the previous one, the guy's like, it was always common, next. Like, I don't know, very dismissive, very.
You know what? I got to say something, Sandy. What I find more amazing than this Mandela effect is that you were able to find another group of suckers to torture with your slides. I just,
You're the only one who doesn't like them, Dan.
I'm sorry. I just had to say it. Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
No, he's Sandy. He's messing with you.
I'm
Scarab is obviously
I'm-
messing with you.
I love Sandy.
He likes busting people's chops. That's
I know.
fine. Here we go. Residue for Boston Commons.
Which there's a ton of, and I got rid of half of them because I didn't want us looking at a ton of residue.
So this is a
And that's
change in the name of a certain place, and so this kind of reminds me of that not Times Square. What is that? Penn Station, or what is that station?
Grand Central Station.
Grand Central Station, and what is it now? Grand Central Terminal. It's kind of like that.
That one bothers me. I hate that change.
It was Grand Central Station for me.
Absolutely.
100%.
That's where the term, what is this, Grand Central Station comes from? Nobody ever said terminal.
So the second part, most people will probably be able to answer. Brian Stavely, if Brian Stavely is from there and has never heard of this, and I can't find anything online about this, so here we go. Go ahead, Jeff.
There's one more thing. I have a genuine question. I couldn't find any info online for this, and I've never heard of this before. I honestly do not know if this is a Mandela or not, so I'm throwing it to you.
That shouldn't be there. Next slide, Brian.
Yeah, what is that?
That's another presentation. Thanks to Flickr.
Does anyone know what Bostonia is, other than a public house, aka historic bar and restaurant? Because I cannot find anything else on the word's significance in relation to Boston history.
It's just a restaurant. It's trying to sound fancy. A Bostonia, you know?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Online, it is just a restaurant, but this is the problem.
All right. I can tell you what it's not, though. It's not the original name of the settlement, which is what I believed had to be the case. Boston was originally named Tremontaine or
Something
Three
like that.
Mountains. Tremontaine or Three Mountains, named by the Puritan settlers.
So,
I have
Brian,
no
next
idea.
slide. Go ahead.
Today, there aren't three mountains.
Brian, what are you doing? Go back. You didn't read anything.
Wait, what?
Was that the wrong one?
You skipped the slide.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought that was not the one that was meant for it. It's something else.
No, this is it. Go ahead, Jeff.
All right. Today,
sorry.
there aren't three mountains. Is that the right one, Sandy?
Yep.
Okay. The only remaining mountain, which is actually a hill, is Beacon Hill. And in 1630, the town was renamed Boston after the town in England where many of the Puritans came from. What is that? Botwolf stone or ton, an Old English word for town.
So the point is, my assumption was that originally the town of Boston was Bostonia. But no, the history shows it went right from Tremontaine to Boston. There was no Bostonia in between. This is what I'm showing you. So, next slide.
So does anyone know why Bostonia is written on nearly everything official, like flags, seals, and even police badges? Is this just obscure history I couldn't find, or is this something everyone knows except me? Or could this possibly be a Mandela effect as well? What do you think?
So again, Brian Stavely has no idea what Bostonia is, but it's on the state flag. It's on seals for education, everything. It's everywhere. It's on the police badges. And with the exception of a bar in a historical building, I can't find anything on Bostonia. Does anyone know what this is? This could be a Mandela effect, especially since Brian's never seen it before. Anyone? Anyone have any idea? No, Bostonia did not get renamed to Boston. It went right from Tremontaine to Boston.
I think that's just I think it could be just a translation. Like maybe
No, I looked it up because everything on that badge is Latin. And Boston in Latin is Boston. It's not even Bostonia.
Jency says yes, Bostonia got renamed to Boston.
And I said, no, it didn't.
Well, that's it on that slide.
Oh, we lost Noble. Is Noble backstage? Or did he leave?
No, I don't see Noble backstage.
Probably couldn't get the sound
It's
working.
probably permissions. Most likely, because if you're on Android or if you're on a computer, they make you use Chrome for StreamYard, and then you have to allow permissions.
I think Noble knows how to use StreamYard.
Yeah. I would think it's more of a sound issue.
Sound, yeah.
Audio. Or microphone issue. So this is where that one slide came from. Recently,
What are those?
Those are little glowing shrimp, Fizzy.
No, but look at the brown ones with the little legs, Dan.
They're dino flagellates.
Dan, look at the little leggies.
I see them. Yeah.
So what you guys missed, a presentation that I'm going to catch you two up to speed. You know how like in that like tropical area that the water glows, like you see it sparkly. Okay, well that happens everywhere now, including like New Jersey and Virginia and Washington State. It happens in every inch of the ocean now, and it's from dinoflagellates, algae, and seed shrimp, which is those the little guys right there. It looks like they're in a seed. So previously I've talked about that. And the little shrimp are called ostracods. So now you guys are caught up. Next slide, Brian.
Cool.
In the Indian Ocean off the coast of Java, a phenomenon is happening that can even be seen on satellite images. Have you ever heard of milky seas? That's just a drawing or a photograph.
No, but I like the guy with the little brown pants. What was that thing called?
Dinoflagellates.
Flatulence?
Flagellates or flagellation. You want to pronounce it?
That's why I was confused.
They're single cell organisms. Single cell organisms.
I like your little pants, that's all.
Where is this at?
Anywhere in the ocean, Brian. So milky seas are huge areas of the ocean or seas, sometimes spanning thousands of square miles, that make the water look like glowing milk. And until August 2019, no one had captured them on camera before, with the exception of satellite images. I will have a bigger close-up of the image in the top left, so don't worry about zooming in. The crew of the sailboat Ganesha are the first to capture a Milky Sea on camera. Their photos and location were then confirmed by satellite imagery, which showed the span of the Milky Sea at the time of their photo. So here's a close-up of that image. So it literally looks like milk that's glowing. Researchers have known about the Milky Seas for some time, but the only images available from satellites, so they could not say for sure what was causing it. But thanks to the crew of Ganesha, researchers now know the cause of the opaque glow. So, recapping, things that make our oceans glow now are the dinoflagellates. Fizzy is messaging, so it's messing me up. Dinoflagellates, seed shrimp or ostracods, algae, and now bacteria. Instead of flagellates, algae, and ostracods, seed shrimp, which cause the glowing waves and waters at the shorelines, Milky Seas are caused by bioluminescent bacteria. There are currently 30 species in the ocean that are known to glow. But we have known that bacteria was the cause since 1985. A research vessel took a sample of a Milky Sea and determined it was the bacterium Vibrio harvii, giving the Arabian Sea its glowing milk appearance. But suspiciously, no photos were taken. Maybe the tech wasn't available at the time. And apparently this bacteria does a number on sea life. So is this new for you guys? Have you ever heard of Milky Seas before? I find it weird that after, just researching things glowing in the ocean, this didn't pop up. And we've known about it for about 40 years now.
I don't think it really looks milky. I would say more like shiny.
Well, that's an art. That's not an actual picture. The only actual picture
Would you
is the one I
swim
showed.
Would you swim in milk, Sandy?
No. Absolutely not.
Why not? Why not?
Why wouldn't I swim in milk?
It's supposed to be good for your skin because they used to bathe in it, so you can swim in there.
Does a body good.
Yeah. Come on, Sandy.
Okay. Brian?
Yes. Next slide.
Is there another slide?
Yes.
Are you sure? Oh yeah, that's right. That's not all. Did you know that snow could glow too? In January 2022, what is being described as a rare and never before seen phenomenon, the snow started glowing in Russia. Scientists mostly agree this was caused by copepods falling from the snow, but some believe it's bioluminescent algae.
Don't eat the glowing snow.
No, don't eat the glowing snow.
Never eat the glowing snow.
No.
It's probably radioactive.
No, it's little shrimpies. And microbiologist Vera, Emelianenko spotted the glowing snow while out for a walk one night. She said the glow was both on top and under the snow, and she could make it glow brighter by touching them, which led scientists to believe these were copepods and not algae. Because those of you that saw the presentation, the ostracods when you collect them in water and dump them on the rocks, that makes them glow because anything that jostles them, they glow as a defense mechanism. The same thing happens with the cope pods, so she would touch them, they would glow more. Yeah, Brian. There we go. Like the ostracod, copepods are zooplankton, tiny crustaceans related to shrimp that are 1 millimeter in length and are also bioluminescent. They're the most common type of zooplankton and can be found in almost every ocean, sea, freshwater bodies, and water in underground caverns. In other words, we should have seen this before.
No, but why are they in the snow?
Because they're so small, they probably got picked up with the condensation and then came down. But the location where this
Then
occurred,
that could happen all the time, right?
well, you would think, yeah. The location where this occurred is in the Arctic near the White Sea, so some believe they washed up on shore.
Racist. Go ahead.
But others believe they were picked up with the storm and came down with the snow. Whatever caused this to happen, snow glowing is now a thing in this reality.
I like it. I don't eat snow anyway, so it doesn't really bother me. Can you imagine that on a Christmas tree?
Can you guys
That'd
hear
be
me?
so pretty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, because Francine just tried calling, and that usually kicks me out of StreamYard, so I'm checking. Brian, you can go. We're done.
Oh, we finished? Okay, that was the end of that slide?
Yeah.
All right. All right, Jeff, you want to read one? You want to read this one?
I think Dan would like to read one.
Dan, you want to read?
I'll read it.
Okay.
Fizzy, I'm going to find you. I just want you to know that.
You already know where I live.
Yeah, I know.
You should come to Sunday Feast, Dan.
Sure. Oh, man.
I do not know if this has been covered before or not, but a new rainbow location has just popped into my reality. So I wanted to share this beautiful place with you and ask you, have you ever heard of this?
No.
Most of us have heard of Glacier National Park, located in Montana. But have you ever heard of the colored stones of Lake McDonald?
Oh, yeah. Of course I have. Next Mandela effect, please. Next.
You really have heard of them, Dan?
No, I'm kidding. I'm just joking. Go ahead.
Lake McDonald is the largest lake in Glacier National Park, and the entire lake at the shoreline is covered in rainbow rocks that are made of mud deposited by a glacier over 1 billion years ago. I would have thought I'd have heard of this in my years of researching rainbow locations, but I haven't. Have you? You gotta find that rainbow connection.
I think it's mostly just pictures now. LVK says, "Oh my God, I want some."
Yeah, they're rainbow colored rocks.
Like in a
Now the colors vary.
Formed by mud. Okay. God.
a billion year old mud at that.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Last time I checked, mud was brown. But
Yes.
anyway, okay. What do I know about science? In billions of years. Ugh, sorry. I'm just an unwashed heathen that knows nothing. I just think that's weird, So like they just sort of show up. It's always like the first thing you always hear about these excuses, it's always a volcano involved, billions of years in mud. I mean, pretty much everything can happen, man. You got a volcano, billions of years in mud, dude. You can just have all kinds of rainbow shit and colors, and it's just amazing.
Everything's
You
rainbow
forgot
now.
ice. You forgot ice. Glaciers are always the
Oh
positive.
yeah,
Always.
well, that or glaciers or mud, you can add any one you want. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I believe it.
Brian, you want to read one?
Yeah.
Brian,
So I recently noticed some residue and changes to a few restaurants, and I'm curious what you remember. Residue merging and other patterns. I'm going to start with two lesser known restaurants, both older and both having a pattern we see in Mandela affected logos. I can't say these are changes, but they are before my time, but the design choices seem unlikely for that time. So look at this one. Little Tavern Shops was a burger place in the Baltimore, D.C. area, and White Tower was a restaurant hoping to cash in on the success of White Castle. Both have the extended letters, which we see in ME logos. For example, Nestle. I was just thinking about Nestle. Where the N sort of covers the rest of the logo. That's interesting, right? Again, I can't say these are definite changes, but they do fit the pattern. What do you think? Is anyone familiar with either of these? Little Tavern hamburgers.
I'm jumping back and forth between the chats.
Oh, so here's what's interesting too. This next one is all merged and squeezed together, but also includes the British flag residue. Arthur Treacher's. You ever heard of this one? Fish and chips. This restaurant. Scarab, you know about this one? Is this one in, I guess, Texas area?
No, never heard of this restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah, and if it was, I've never been.
I've heard of them. They had them in Jersey, but they don't have them here in Texas. No.
Okay, so they're mainly probably just a regional location. Yeah, that's good residue for the flag. I don't know how you found that one, Sandy. How did you find that one?
Well, I don't know. Arthur Treacher's popped up in something.
Yeah, because that is the British flag that I remember, and that everyone else remember. Now it looks like a swastika almost, or a pinwheel. Anyway, but some of their logos were more merged than others, but all have merging letters in the residue. Is this how you remember their logo? Again, the A, the R, and the T is all merged, and the T, the R, and the E is merged there.
The T is cut off in Arthur.
This last one is 100% change for me, both the name and one of the logos, and it's also the only one of these restaurants still in operation, but many locations have recently closed. Yeah, is the top logo or the bottom logo the name of the restaurant in your reality? Was it Ruby Tuesday or Ruby Tuesdays?
So panel, what do you guys remember?
Ruby Tuesdays.
Ruby Tuesdays.
I'm kind of 50-50 on this one. I am leaning towards Ruby Tuesday, but that's how I know it in this timeline. I mean,
Dan?
It was Tuesdays. 100%.
The R looks weird though in Ruby Tuesdays, and some of the other letters like the A with those strong hooks, and even the U is kind of blocked off there, leaning to the right. Like,
stay here, Brian. I want to see what the chat's saying. Jeff, can you read Brian's chat?
Yeah. We have Ruby Tuesdays for Jessica. Beth Bromley says Ruby Tuesday. Jency, Ruby Tuesdays. Jennifer M says goodbye, Ruby Tuesday. Dominic says Ruby Tuesdays.
Hmm.
And I want to say that Deborah O'Connor says, going back to White Tower and Little Tavern Shops, I live in Baltimore and I've seen both of these restaurants. The lettering is totally wrong. Spotter says Ruby Tuesday is a Rolling Stones song. And
Yeah.
Analog Lime says, I remember Tuesdays.
And Ed Hen says Tuesdays because he put 2.
And High Pocket says no S. And Noise Guru remembers an apostrophe S. Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, no way.
No, Brian, go back. You have to read it.
Oh, the restaurant was always Ruby Tuesdays in my past. But the S is gone. It's always been Ruby Tuesday in this reality. Does this match your memory?
No.
The
Not at all.
Maryville-based restaurant chain Ruby Tuesday is hitting sour notes down under, threatening an Australian rock band that goes by the name Ruby Tuesdays. So they had a rock band named Ruby Tuesdays with a $2 million lawsuit, according to the Sydney Morning Herald. Interestingly, the restaurant chain sued an Australian band for using their name. The band is called Ruby Tuesdays, and the band won. Wow. So in more legal news, this lawyer is representing waitresses who were underpaid by the restaurant chain. They also remember Tuesdays. There is so much residue, including from former employees, that you'd assume would know the name of their employer.
Just like Chick-fil-A.
Yep.
Yep.
Host at Ruby Tuesdays.
It's definitely Tuesdays. And they're enough to know that.
Now you can go through these pretty quickly. It's just a lot of residue.
Tons of
Ruby
residue.
Tuesdays.
Yeah, I wonder why they closed them down.
They
In a lot of places,
they
they're
suffered
closed.
Fat people.
the pandemic. Oh wait, read this one. I have to read
What?
this one.
What?
Damn.
So this is
It's true.
They just
There's
they
too
just
many
closed them
fatties
down
that went
because
to.
people are fat.
Yeah, no, because they go in and they eat buffet, and dude, it's like you can't. They keep going back. It never
Oh,
ends.
is that why Ponderosa
They're losing
too?
profits. Yeah, you're losing profits on these
Mhm.
places, man. Fat Americans going in and just chowing down. Dude, you can't make any money with a buffet anymore.
That's true.
I'm just being honest.
So this is
Sorry.
That's not true because the Chinese buffet, what they do is they fill
Dude.
you all up with the cheap stuff like
You-
rice and noodle, and then
Right.
you don't get to eat any of their
Listen,
meat or anything. 'cause you're
Don't
too
ever
full.
do Chinese buffet because everything
I
that was
can't
left
help
over
it.
from the night before gets put out there again as
I can't.
Kung Pao
I
chicken
need it,
or
Dan.
something. It was like the day before it was broccoli beef, but then it turns into Kung Pao beef or whatever the next day. So don't do that. Just don't.
I've been craving
So
a lo mein
this
for
is-
days.
Sissy, do not make me crave Chinese food. You do this to me, I will make you crave mac and cheese. You stop it. Copycat Ruby Tuesdays pasta salad. The little box at the bottom says, I worked at Ruby Tuesdays for a long time as a waitress. And yet she doesn't know the name of the place. All right, go ahead, Brian.
I feel like it was Ruby Tuesdays.
Like I said, you can move through these quickly. There's a lot of them. It's just a lot of places. There's even someone even designed a mask on whatchamacallit, Redbubble. Welcome to Ruby Tuesdays. Go back. Oh, okay, doesn't matter. It's fine. So even South Park remembers Ruby Tuesdays. There's no sound, Brian. It's just the words.
They said Ruby Tuesdays with an apostrophe S.
They did. Like Deborah O'Connor. No, wait. Yeah, Deborah O'Connor remembers apostrophe S, and so did, I think, High Pockets. Yeah. No, Noise Grove. So here is the
finally their
what's
logo.
what.
Huh?
Go ahead. This
Yeah,
is why I
finally
even looked at the first. Go ahead.
Yeah, finally their logo, specifically the one from 1972 to 1990, this restaurant heyday. Do you remember this crazy merging and lizard tongue letter Y? I don't. Not at all.
I don't. Me either.
No.
No way.
Why would the Y have two tails?
That looks so weird.
Satan.
Yeah,
Sandy.
Satan. I agree with this.
Could it be?
I can't. Sandy, I'm waiting for your I can't.
It could be Satan.
Hi, Wizardry.
Hi, Wizardry.
Are we down to the last one, the logos?
Yeah, I think we're on the last one here. You want to explain the logos, Sandy?
Yeah, I'll explain them. Yeah.
You guys see my screen?
Not yet. It's spinning.
I see a black. Okay, there it is.
All right. So these are some of the art things we came across. Putting in September 11th, 2001, we have a Red Bar flag. For some reason, they wrote 11/11. It's very Russian. We covered these on Dan's channel. Snow White with yellow sleeves, like I remember, and the
Oh
Thinker.
shit! Are we really going back to the
pointing-
sleeve?
That's a knockoff Snow White. That's not Disney Snow White.
No, these are AI art, Fizzy.
Oh,
Yeah, but that's not real Snow White. Look at her hair. And why has she got a monkey with a...
Fizzy. Do you understand what AI art is?
Yes, but there's a lot of versions of Snow White, and that's not the official Snow White. That's a
No, it's not.
knockoff
But the
Chinese
AI
Snow White.
remembers the yellow sleeves like I do, and it also remembers the Thinker with the fist to the head, and not in the mouth.
Yeah, but explain the monkey then.
I don't know what that is.
yeah,
I think it's
Sandy.
some
That
dwarf
animal
dog.
Yeah,
next to
Sandy. What about the
her.
monkey? Let's talk about the
It's
monkey,
like
Sandy.
got a red
I think
scarf.
it's a dog. It's like one of those ones like from like the Little Rascals with the black around its eye. You see it?
No, I'm pretty sure it's a monkey. Look at its
Yeah.
feet.
It's like a snow monkey. Okay, never mind. All right, we'll stop talking about the monkey.
It's a Christmas monkey.
Oh,
Go ahead, Brian. You can go on.
Christmas monkey.
Christmas monkey.
But I
So
do
here
think Snow
is
White
the
would look
Zenith
better with
logo.
long hair.
It's a little more to the right, but it's still underneath. You could still have a east to west
Yeah,
Panama
Sandy,
Canal the way it is there.
Sandy, I
And
actually
that's
have
Brian's
that.
residue.
Yep.
No, that's yours.
Yeah, I
So
have that. One of
Brian's.
it actually
you
says
sent me the
Luke, I'm your
box.
father.
Mm-hmm. And it's printed on the back, Luke, I am your father.
You-
So this is just something I threw in here. I used to play The Legend of Zelda. Fizzy, did you play The Legend of Zelda?
No, I
think
did
most of us
not.
did.
Believe it or not, but I was more into the Super Nintendo RPGs than Zelda, like Chrono Trigger and Secret of Mana.
I love Secret of Mana. But I don't remember a pink background in The
But
Legend
hold
of
on.
Zelda.
Hold the phone here. What about that upside down triangle? I thought it was a right side up one. There's the Triforce.
I think it was too.
That was a right side up triangle.
In the chat, do you guys remember the upside down triangle? I mean, they don't remember the pink. So this is old must-see TV. The T's are all cut off, and the Pepsi Challenge, E's are all crooked. Don't remember that. Okay, Brian. If anybody says anything about the triangle, I'll let you know in the chat. So this was interesting. United States 2023, and it's the Schwab guy, the World Economic Forum dude for the United States. And then Brian noticed spam was merged, the A and the M. Klaus Schwab, is that his name? Yeah, thank you, High Pockets. So these are old 1980s toys. Cut off F's, cut off T's, weird E's merging. Stuff that didn't happen when I was a kid. Nothing looked like that.
They look like space logos, like kind of like Star Trek and Star Wars kind of logos.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't they call that vector graphics in the realm of graphic design?
No, vector graphics are graphics that aren't pixels. It's line graphics. Like you can adjust the lines and things like that. Whereas other image graphics are like Photoshop images are all pixels. So Tape World we've covered before with the A, but now the O and the R is connected, and I don't remember that. Slice, the LI is connected, and it's a number 1. Actually, it's an 11. The L and the I is an 11. And then Tribbles have those little things, and it's all merged with a little half I. It looks weird.
I agree. It was never like that. Tape World and Slice never looked like that. Tribbles I never heard of.
I don't know why it's in the candy section. There were cookies. So for those that remember an upside down rainbow, there you go. That's actually in, is it Pripyat, where Chernobyl happened? Now the Children's Television Network, I remember these logos. These are the logos I remember. But the next slide, I do not remember. And these were later logos. I don't remember. I do remember the logo on the bottom. I do not remember them overlapping like that, like the W and the O, the H sticking out. That looks weird to me. I don't remember the 80s logo at all.
Me either.
And that's what I would have been watching, like Sesame Street and things like that. So the Limited has cut off T's and always has. The National Institute of Mental Health has always supposedly looked like that, with the M and the H. Columbia House we've covered before, but the C and the H were not connected when I covered it last time. We only talked about the A, and now the C and the H is connected, and the C is eating the O like everything is. And this Am toy, which I remember My Pet Monster, the A is filled in, it's all merged. It's wrong.
It's kind of weird that the National Institute of Mental Health is triggering my OCD. Anyway, just saying.
I don't blame you.
It looks like Nim, like The Secret of Nim.
It does.
Yeah.
Looks like someone mental wrote it.
So these are some old ads. I thought this was funny that they were advertising a soap to make you lose weight. Like the soap was going to wash your fat away. But the thing is,
That would be
when
nice.
you zoom in, yeah, wouldn't it? But the thing is, when you zoom in, it says Cleveland O period. Has anyone ever seen states abbreviated just the first letter period?
No.
That's why it's
Cleveland's
here.
not a state, is it?
No, Ohio Fizzy. It's just O period here.
Yeah, I think they did that because they ran out of page or something, maybe.
Oh, goodness.
Maybe. I've never seen it before, though.
Right.
And then this really old Oriental toothpaste for cleansing. Well, I'm not going to read it. Brian, can you just zoom in on that bottom left image with the JB merging on a very old tub of toothpaste in a pyramid, overlapping another pyramid.
Star David.
But I'm not reading that word. It's supposed to be gums. No way. Go ahead, Brian. You know I know.
Oh. Yeah. Weird toothpaste.
Very weird toothpaste.
Mhm.
So, this toothpaste was called McClean. And you're going to tell me that in the 1940s, all those triangles were used in a font and a box in the E? No, absolutely not.
Wait, hold up. What was
And
that
then-
other one that said Jewsbury on it? What's that all about?
Where are you looking at?
I think it was the last slide. It said Jewsbury.
What's a Jewberry?
I don't know.
What?
Like a
Very
Jew-
schnozberry?
Very cheap berry, I guess. I don't know.
Yep. No, that's a name. Jeff, it's a name. Prepared by Jewsbury and Brown.
I never heard
That's
of
a
Jewsbury.
cheap berry.
Explains the star right there on the front then.
That sounds awful.
It
Jewsbury.
does.
That's a person's name, people.
I
It's
know,
their
but it
last
sounds
name.
wrong.
It does.
It's so
That's
wrong.
their name.
Poor Sandy's trying to rein us all in, and we're like, what's a Jewberry?
Yeah, right. We're like, that sounds racist. I don't know.
It does.
So Ticket World,
So
that logo's
far-
from 1984.
We're doing the challenge of the week. So far, Nopal has broken his leg, broken his arm, and got shot by a gun. And everyone else is doing fine, but poor Nopal's like really going through it right now.
For those who don't know, because he's talking about Oregon Trail.
No, there's no movie gallery is missing the R, the left side of the R.
Yeah.
With,
And
and
it's all
the M
messed
and
up.
the O. No, what do you guys remember that?
What the fuck is movie gallery?
Is
that like
is-
some?
It was
that-
a knockoff Blockbuster, pretty much.
Oh, we only have Blockbuster down here. We have a movie gallery.
Well, you know, there's still one Blockbuster that's left in the whole country. There's still one left.
Is there?
Yeah,
It's
Where?
independently owned.
independently owned. Yes,
Oh, cool. Where's it
I
at?
don't know where. I'm going to look it up.
It's in Alaska, right?
Yeah, you
No,
can still go there to rent
That's
videos.
what I thought.
It's in Oregon. Bend, Oregon.
Jewberry, Oregon. That's where it is.
Go
No,
ahead,
I
Brian.
could have sworn it was in Alaska. Mandela.
That V.
So this is weird. I've never seen a sign like this, and I remember Wicks and Sticks in the mall. The letters are overlapping on the sign. Has anyone ever seen this before? The flame and the S is literally on top of the other letter.
Who did the Jewsbury?
It's trying to burn the W. Doesn't seem very
It is
safe.
burning the W.
Is Sticks merging and blending like that? No.
The K and the S is.
Is it? Oh,
At
I
the
can't
end.
tell. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I don't know, man. It's weird.
Why is Jeff giggling like a schoolgirl? What's the matter?
Somebody wrote, "Who did the Jewsbury?"
Oh,
Look the Jewsberries.
So
It tastes
this
like
is
Jewsberries. Look the Snozberries. It tastes like Snozberries.
So this is Tom McCann. And the sign inside the entrance, they're using infinity symbols for the O's now.
It was a shoe store?
And it had two ends.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah,
say.
Streets
Two
covered
ends.
that one a long
Yep.
time ago. So Hills used to have a straight eye, but all these pictures now, the eye is curving into the L, and I don't remember ever seeing it like that. Does anybody ever remember seeing the Hills logo like that with it bent in and almost looks like Halls?
I don't know that store.
I don't know that one.
Actually, Hal's.
See, some of these stores are regional.
Yeah, and Tom didn't have no damn H in it, dude. So whatever. By the way, just saying, just for the record.
No, it didn't.
Just TOM.
Mm-hmm. TOMMCANN.
Yeah.
What I remember.
Yep.
That's it.
And that's all, folks.
I want to say I'm sorry again for oversleeping. It's not even that I was oversleeping. I was awake about 45 minutes for the show and then crashed. And then I guess Brian and Jeff called and I didn't hear it at all until Fizzy called.
Somehow Fizzy was able to get through, and thank goodness. Thank goodness for Fizzy.
Goodness.
Yeah.
I want to thank, let's see, Thomas called in earlier. Thank you very much. Wait, no, it wasn't. Was it Thomas? Who called in?
A Southern guy.
John Thomas. No, I know. I knew
Yes,
I
it
was
was
wrong.
John Thomas.
John Thomas called in.
Yes.
Thank you, John Thomas, for calling in and sharing your experience with us and giving me the time to upload, which I really appreciate. Thank you, Fizzy, and Dan for coming in, but Fizzy for waking me up. I can't believe I fell asleep right before the show started.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. You
Sorry,
can pirate
that
our show
happens.
anytime, man. Don't just
Yeah.
come on.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you
for
the
coming.
invite. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, enjoyed it. Thank you.
Well, I hope everyone has a great Mandela Effect day, and God bless. Take it easy. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.